guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be starting a new series, and this new series is Pro Tips for Coloring. This is going to be a series of classes that are going to take you from A to Z. It's going to incorporate everything that I've done in the last 3 years, all the main topics that I have wanted to bring out. Now, not everybody's watched everything, of course. There's 5. You can email me if you want to know when a topic will be coming up. I had a lot of people write to me over the last couple of weeks asking me questions, and I've been promising you a video. Everybody who's asked me for a video, you will find your video or the information that I promised you in this series. Today, I'm going to do an introduction to colored pencils. Now, those of you who have been coloring for a long time, you might not know this information, and it will help you. For some of you, it's going to be review. Got to put up with it. Put up with me. We will get to the good stuff, I promise you. But first, I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions of people come together to make the next step in their artistic journey. There are thousands of classes that you can choose from in topics such as fine arts, creative writing, graphic design, photography, and more. Lots more. In fact, there are thousands of classes to choose from. Skillshare classes combine a combination of both a video lesson and a class project. These classes are designed to fit your schedule and your skill level. Members get unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes with hands-on projects and feedback from the community of millions. Most classes are under 60 minutes with a short lesson that fits any schedule. Because of Skillshare's great generosity, the first 500 people who hit the link in the description and sign up will get the first 2 months free. You can't go wrong. It's a free education. And the first thing we're going to talk about is colored pencils in general. Now, I know this is going back way back to the beginning, and most of you that come to me have been using colored pencils, but I do have a few of you. In fact, one of my friends, Kat, just bought her first set of colored pencils, and she needs this information. When one person needs information, there'll always be more people that need this information. Pencils are binder plus pigment. The better the pigment, the better the pencil. There could be 2 different binders. One could be a wax base, and one could be an oil base. There is one pencil brand out there, Holbein, which is a combination pencil. They are the most wonderful pencils you can ever use, and they're not available in the United States. Wax pencils vary greatly. If you have a harder wax versus a softer wax. And why I tell people right off the bat, go straight to the Prismacolor. Prismacolor is a soft wax with a high quality pigment. That's where you're going to get your rich saturated colors. Now, there also are Derwent brand. There's different lines that they put out. Derwent puts out all sorts of different lines of pencils, but so does Prismacolor. I use both pencils, and I like both of them. They have different colors, so I have a wide array to choose from. Wax pencils and brands can be mixed. I happen to like the Derwent drawing pencils, and I use the Chinese white and the ivory black from that line as my black and white pencils, whether I'm using any other pencil brand. So that's my go-to pencil. So you can mix. You can mix oil pencils with wax pencils. Wax pencils go on like cake batter. You mix a yellow and a red, you blend it up, the wax pigments melt together, and you create a new color. Where oil pencils sort of sit on top of each other like cellophane. You take a yellow piece of cellophane and a blue piece of cellophane, you put them on top of it, you get green. And that's closer to how they mix. On the Prismacolor line, you have 2 types of pencils. One is the Premier and one is the Verithin. Verithin is their hard wax line of pencils. It's a very old formula. They've been using it since almost the beginning. They go back almost 100 years. Prismacolor has changed their formulas throughout the years. I have a whole series on antique pencils or classic pencils, and I will leave the links in the description box of if you want to look at that. My recommendation is to start with a Prismacolor set. The larger the set, the better. Now, there's a trick on buying larger set pencils. Sometimes the price for the 150 set is less money than the 120 or the 96. So you really have to be on top of your prices. Oil pencils are like polychromo, okay? That's my go-to oil pencil. They're expensive, but there is alternatives, and I like Schiphierfarbens as far as being a mid-range pencil. I don't see much of a quality difference between the two pencils. So I do like those two brands, and those are basically my go-to brands for oil pencils. Whenever I look for a set of pencils, I like when there are replacements available, and the upper brands or the better quality brands all have stock of the pencils where you can replace one. On the cheaper sets, use up your sky blue, that's it, you're done. You gotta buy another set. So that's where buying a little bit better quality set, Prismacolor and above, and you're guaranteed to get the pencils that you need when you need them. Now, I have a hard, fast rule. The first place that I go to look for pencils is Amazon, but do not buy your replacement pencils on Amazon. There are much better places. Amazon is excellent for full box sets, are the best price, but there's a couple of other places too you can look, which I'll tell you about in a minute. When it comes to buying individual pencils, I like Blick's Art Supply. They have a really decent price of stock pencils, and they usually carry the whole entire stock. Sometimes at Michael's and at Hobby Lobby, they don't carry the full line, so you miss one or two, but you're almost guaranteed at Blick's that you will have every pencil available to you. And that's for all the upper brands too. They carry the full line of stock. If I'm going to buy a set of pencils, I'm going to check the prices on Amazon. Right now, a set of pencils are going for about $89. They had gone down slightly lower than that, but right now, like the cheapest that I could find it is $89, and that's a decent price. That price is the same as it was 2 years ago at Christmas. But there are other places that you can look. Now, the thing about colored pencils is they don't expire. It's one of the best art supplies that you can have. Paint dries up, ink dries up. They can't be used indefinitely. Colored pencils do not change. You can keep a colored pencil for 100 years. So if you put your colored pencils down and you don't pick them up for a couple of years, you can still bring those pencils out and they will be as fresh as the day that you put them away. And that's one of the good things about being into pencil art. You don't waste your money on supplies. So when looking for your pencils, you can buy used pencils. And if the set that you find that happens to be used is missing a particular color, you can buy that stock. So you can have a full set. And the one place that I do check for pencils, and I've gotten some really amazing deals, is Macari.com. And that's for people who maybe are out of coloring. They've moved on to a different art medium, or maybe stopped, their lives changed and they stopped completely or didn't like it. They invested money into it. Check the prices against new, because I have seen many times where people think they're going to make a profit on their pencils, which is funny to me. eBay, you'll often get somebody who has a large collection of pencils and they sell them off on eBay. You can get good deals, but be careful with eBay. You can buy older pencils, Sanford, Eagle brand, and Beryl. You can get them on eBay. Now, unless you're into having antique pencils because you want to keep them, there's no difference in the way they lay down. They're not that hard to get. There's only a few colors out there like fuchsia and copper that they don't have in the new sets. And sometimes you can find they think that, oh, they're old, they're better. It doesn't necessarily mean that when it comes to art supplies. They'll work the same, but honestly, if you are just buying them to use, buy a Premier set. That's my advice on colored pencils and what they are and where to get them. The next thing I want to talk to you about is supplies. There's going to be a list, and I'm going to do this in an entirely different video. The supplies that I recommend. You're going to need other things. You're going to need the books. You're going to need a blender. You're going to need a whitener. There are a list of things. You're going to need a sharpener and an eraser. And I do have my recommendations on that, and that's an entire video in itself. So just be prepared. Just because you got your colored pencils, there is going to be a little bit more of an investment into this hobby other than just the colored pencils. Now, if you're just starting out in this hobby, I'm going to give you the best piece of advice: quality over quantity. When I first started out, I bought every book that I could get my hands on. My collection was huge. And then I learned quality is definitely key. Unless you are printing, because you can't like take a sheet out and print it, or buy the PDF and print it yourself. And that way you can get it on good paper. If you're just planning to color right out of the books, go for the better quality paper. I'm going to say this, and this is my opinion: I will not buy a Crate Haven book. I think the paper is crap. What you're looking for in the paper is tooth. Now, how are you going to know whether a book is good or not good? Well, that's where you're going to look at reviews. And for people who are a little bit more familiar with what good paper and horrible paper feels like, and then go from there. Now, choosing your artwork for your coloring books is, of course, a personal preference. I have a lot of different artists that I do endorse and I love. I'm going to say my favorite artist is, I know this is going to come as a big shocker to everybody, Elena Lazareva. She's my favorite. She has a lot of really good elf and nature, and she's got a whole variety of everything. And I do like a good portrait, and I really feel she does a really good portrait. Just because I'm saying that she's my favorite doesn't mean she's my only. There are plenty of other artists out there. I'm working on a Chris Chang picture. Mario Rubio is another one of my favorite. Now, there are a few others that I do recommend. Now, all of these are high quality books. They're not $10 books. They're a little bit more money, but one good quality book is worth 10 times what you will buy cheaper books. So go for quality over quantity, and you will be much happier at the end. Set of Art is gorgeous, by Mariola Budek. You can get that on Etsy. Friend Tammy bought it for me, and these pictures can be framed. They're not in a book. They come in a folder. They're on individual sheets of high quality paper. It feels like a better quality than even cardstock. It doesn't say what type of paper it is in the set. It comes with specialty pictures and some cards. It was just a fantastic set. So again, Mariola Budek, and you can get that on Etsy. If you like floral designs, I recommend Floribunda by Lilia Dooley, and that's also available in Etsy. I'm not sure if it's available on Amazon. Serene by Nicholas Chandra. He changed his name. Nicholas. I'm going to put it on the screen because this name has like 20 letters in it. I think he goes by Nicholas F. now because nobody could pronounce his last name. The book Serene is really fantastic. And another one of my favorites that is probably one of the more recent ones that I received, and that's Laura Rafferty, and that's Circle Portraits. Illustrators that use this company. They're hard-covered, and one of them is Klara Markova, Maria Tolte, Hannah Carzone. And those books are fun, and they're all whimsical, and they've got little elves and little critters and little objects that they're great for, like, if you want to just color a little bit and then put it down. These are the books to get. Paper in these books are very good too. And the quality of the book, it's nice to have a hard-covered book. You can bring it around with you. So any of the books by those authors, they're all the same as far as the quality. It's the same company that's putting out the book. They're all worth the price, and they're probably about in the 30s for these books. Congratulations, guys. You made it through your first class. I hope to see you in class number 2. Stay safe, stay healthy, and above all, stay home. Take care.